Hello, BookTube. It's Wednesday, so it's time for another shelf tour of my ongoing transportation section. But we're nearing the end. This is the second from last shelf, and we're on shelf number 7. Most of this is canals and shipping, with a bit of railway and a smattering of other things. We'll start out with canals, and this is a nice series by David and Charles. It's the Canals of British Isles. There's 14 volumes. I do want to complete it. And there's the listing. Oh, you can't really see that, can you? Oh, there we go. That's no. There you go. Anybody's interested? There's the one. There's 14 volumes, and yeah, I've got maybe half, I think, in total. And they're not sort of all here at the moment. This is the first one, well, that I'm going to show. This is volume 3 of the series. It's the Canals of Southwest England by Charles Hadfield. And as I said, it's David and Charles. And this was published in 1967, but second edition 1985. Now, again, they're not, like, I'll just say this over and over, they're not academically inclined. This was an enthusiast, Charles Hadfield, but you know, they did this series that is just a good sort of introduction to the canals. There's certainly other books that are more detailed on any specific canal, but this is just a fabulous overview of the canals of England, the set. And it's been criticized a little bit for that because it is general, but that's fine. And, you know, there are some mistakes in it, which is going to crop into almost any endeavor that you do. Next two are volume 1 and 2 of Yorkshire and Northeast England, the Canals of. And there's just, you know, there's so many they did. Like, they did a holiday cruising series, holiday cruising on the Broads and Fens, holiday cruising on inland waterways, holiday cruising in Ireland, holiday cruising on the Thames. And it's just, you know, stuff like that. I just love this stuff. And it'd be something that I'd, you know, when I see this, I'd be putting it to, onto my collection. So this is Charles Hadfield as well, and it's, as I say, Yorkshire and the northeast of England in 2 volumes. And this one was done in 1973, both of them probably all at the same time. Let's just check. Yeah, no, 72 and 73. And the next 2 are sort of similar, but he's got a co-author with this one. Somebody else who's done a lot of stuff on canals, Charles Hadfield and Gordon Biddle, Canals of Northwest England, Volume 1 and 2. They all have this distinctive design to them, which I like. It's general, like, it's an expensive set. To get like a complete one, but I was building this, and I'm not sure how much I paid for these each. I think one or two of them might have been priced at sort of £10, but I probably got a better deal on it than that, and probably the others were about 5. So, you know, to piece together a series isn't so bad. I'll probably, if I do search, I'd probably have to pay maybe a little more pricey for a few volumes if I really was, you know, wanted to do it quickly. But yeah, so, and this is, as I say, Hadfield. This is probably split up into 2 years being written as well. This is 1970 is volume 1. And volume 2 is 1970, so yeah, so they didn't do it that time. And then the Canals of Eastern England, by someone else this time, duo author John Boyles and Ronald Russell. I think I've seen Ronald Russell's name on other books, but not John Boyles, so he might be popular, like, you know, with them, but I'm not that au fait with them as much as Hadfield. This is 1977. This one again, David and Charles. Now here's an interesting sort of series of books on steamers. Here we go. And there might be, I think one of them might be a duplicate that I showed earlier, but possibly different editions. And when I was paying hardly anything for these, I didn't really care. And there's a lot more I'd like to get, and they're David Charles as well. This is the Early Solent Steamers, A History of Local Steam Navigation by Captain F.T. O'Brien. David and Charles as well. 1973. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on here. It's like British paddle steamers, the golden years of the Clyde steamers, ships of the UK, rise and fall of the wooden shipbuilding in Hampshire, ship builders of the Thames and Medway. I had that one, or have it. This one here is, so I said David Charles, 1973. I probably said that already. But steamers are cool. Steamers are cool. And they all have this fabulous appendix, or appendices, some of them, in the back, which lists here, like the built date was acquisitions and basically decommissioned. They give all the dates for it, the name of the steamer, the builders and engineers, type, well, it was wood, length, beam, and depth. They give all that in feet, number of tons, horsepower, and then remarks. Like this one, Prince of Coburg, built in 1870, acquisitioned in 1820, and decommissioned in 1826. It was 70, almost 77 feet long. The beam was 14 and a half almost, and the depth was 5, almost 6 feet. It was 52 tons and 24 horsepower, and 1826 off passage halt in Southampton. And it's got, you know, every ship, every steamer that there was, pretty well, that was on there. And then we got this Clyde steamers one again, and I'm pretty sure we've seen this, but these are different editions. This is Stevenson Publishing, not David and Charles. Yeah, this is a whole bunch of, there's a list of a whole bunch of other ones. £4, £3 was the original price. This is second edition. Clyde and Other Coastal Steamers by Christian Leslie Dice Duckworth and Graham Easton Langmuir. T. Stevenson's and Sons Limited, 1977, and that's the second edition. It was originally done in 1931, and it goes through. This one is a little different. It gives, like, there's a lot of photographs, but it gives the name of the company or the steamer, and it gives a brief little outline of that ship and whatsoever, and it's got the same type of appendices in the back with, yeah, the, you know, built. This is on the same thing. This type, this was steel. Mersey Coast was the name of it. This one, the shipbuilders and engineers, the length, the beam, the depth. GT, I'm not sure what that is. It probably says at the beginning there must be a legend for this. I'm sure it's somewhere. But yeah, so it's got all sorts of, and that probably is a duplicate, maybe of a couple or something, but different editions. And we got Nether Stevenson as well, West Coast Steamers. Again, the same authors, the Duckworth and Langmuir. And this was Clyde, yeah, West Coast Steamers. And this one was published in 1966 by T. Stevenson's Sons. Originally, the first printing was 1933, and then there was a second edition in January 56, and then third edition February 1966. So despite being sort of very dry, some of these things went into a lot of printings. So there are people out there that like these. There we go. There's a bunch on the advertised there on the back cover. And it's the exact same thing. It's like the name of this, like, you know, the PS Britannia. This well-known steamer made her maiden trip on 27th of June 1896, and in common with so many of the saloon paddlers built in the latter part of the 19th century, she underwent various modifications in the course of her long career. And it just goes out like, just, you know, little paragraphs of everything, and, you know, a very quick, again, you know, there's a good index of each of them, and then yeah, it's just again the same type of thing with the appendices, just listings, which is fabulous. South Coast pleasure steamers, again. See, there's the West Highland steamers, which I don't think I have. And yeah, this is £3, 42 shillings net, it says, but £3.50. That doesn't quite, that must be £3.50 in when they decimalized. Yeah, it must be, because this is 1969. T. Stevenson and Son, by E.C.B. Thornton, author of Clyde Coast Pleasure Steamers. And this is second printing, 1969, originally 1962. And it's the same. This one is a little more historically. There's more of a narrative rather than a listing, but it's got photos. And I think steamers are cool. All the cool kids like them. And again, the appendices with all the details in. West Country passenger steamers. Again, this is Stevenson. I just love the covers too. They're just nice, and it'd be nice to have the whole, like, you know, whole set of them. Dust on the top here, and there's the photographs of it's got fox. Come on, lighting, so you can see the foxing along the photograph pages, and just lots of photographs. This one, ooh, that would be nice, by the same author. Records of Bristol Ships, 1800 to 1838. That'd be cool. This is 1967, second edition, 1967, originally 1956. And yeah, it's got, you know, all the areas and little histories, and again, the appendices and all sorts of stuff in the back. This is the last of the Stevenson ones, I think. Railway and Other Steamers. Duckworth and Langmuir again. We saw the first one, I think, by Stevenson. And yeah, it just goes on. They did a lot of stuff. Uh, 1968, second edition, 68, 1948, original edition. And same thing, just the naming of the steamer, lots of photographs and the details. And then if you want really quick details of the acquisitions and when they were built and everything, just all the stats, you got it in the appendices. And then here's another one that's a David and Charles. It's Steam at Sea, a history of steam navigation. So not quite, but I couldn't pass it up. I think steamships or steamers are cool. Have I said that? Steamers are cool. KT Rowland, David and Charles, as I say, and Heifers, a Cambridge independent new bookshop. I'm assuming it's still there. I'm not sure. It's many years since I've been to Cambridge. But anyway, this is K.T. Rowland, David and Charles, 1970. And it's more well, it's a history of, and quite a few photographs as well. And no big appendices like of charts and stats. But it goes right up to the turbine era, like sort of around. I think it goes up to almost World War One or just shortly after. Here we got an Irish passenger steamship services. This is volume 1. I think that might be the only one that I have. Yeah, I'm not sure. Might be the only. I might only have volume 1. North of Ireland. It's a David and Charles again, and published in 1969, and it does the same thing in the appendices and just you know, the name of the ship, the steamer, and information about it. Not sure how high I can pile that without it going for a flying leap. Light Ships, or Lighthouses and Light Ships by Lee Chadwick. It's a nice map on there. See, this price was £5 for this, but I would have probably paid only like $2.50 or $3 for it. Lots of maps. Lee Chadwick, illustrated by Peter Martin. Dennis Dobson is the publisher. 1971. This is Second Depression, 1974. And there's lots of photographs in it. Yeah. Exactly what it says. Let's see if they've got some pictures of light ships to show, because they're kind of cool. Yeah, well, not the best, but there we go. I've got an antiquarian book too, from 1800s. That's on the lighthouses and light ships. Oh, didn't show this one here. It's Cornish shipwrecks, the Isles of Sicily, and lo and behold, it's a David and Charles publication. Richard Larne. Second printing 1979, original 1971, and it's got lots of photographs of shipwrecks. Here we go, Steamers of British Railways. Oh, that's another Stevenson. It's a very slim one. Yeah, there's something that'd be nice to get. The rest of them nice M papers there. Of England, below Scotland. T. Stevenson's son, W. Paul Clegg and John S. String. First printing 1962, so this is a 1962 printing. And it's just a listing of each of the ships with all the details in each one and a photograph. So yeah, this doesn't have, because all the details are in there, so it doesn't really have. It lists the companies, I think, and the ships that they had. The West Somerset Mineral Railway and the story of Brendan Hill's iron mills. David and Charles again. And there's more books on the back here. It's by Roger Selleck, and with contribution by J.R. Hamilton and M.H. Jones. Nice, I guess it's the logo of the mining company. That's kind of cool at the frontispiece. West Somerset Mineral Railway Company, incorporated 1855. And this was second edition, 1970, originally 1962. And yeah, it's just, again, listing with photograph. Well, it's a history of and listing of like some of the railway bits and pieces with photographs. Now, I'm gonna have a bit of an issue here, I think, with where to put stuff. Ports of the United Kingdom, Sir David J. Owen. Sorry, it's getting kind of warm in here, so I'm starting to sweat and don't want to get my hands all wet with the books. Allman and Sons Publishers, London. This is first impression 1939 and the second revised edition 1948. And it's exactly what it says on the cover. And it's a little history of all the ports of England, with like imports and things like that. Yeah, so it's a nice good reference. Yeah, this is a little out of, the area for the transportation, for British transportation. It's got the original, probably, George's in Bristol. £4, possibly. Yeah, it probably was £4. You can't see that, can you? No. Well, you can see a little bit there, yeah. And it's Far Eastern Trade, 1860 to 1914. Francis E. Hyde, PhD, Adam and Charles Black. This is 1973, first printing. And it's exactly what it says, a very short history of the Far Eastern trade, which is quite interesting. That's why I got it. Irish passenger steam. Oh, there's the volume 2, Irish passenger steamships. Yeah, I do have both volumes, and this is south of Ireland. It's sunned on the spine, but that's okay. It was cheap. 1971, and again, it's the same deal. Naming of the ships and a little information about them. Just fabulous stuff. Two more smaller ones, and then we got some big ones here. Yeah, this is a newer book, but it's an Oxford University Press. It's How Steam Locomotives Really Work. This is quite technical. PWB Siemens and A.J. Goldfinch. Oxford, 2000. And it is more technical on the engineering side of it and how the steam actually works. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, why not? I probably won't be able to understand most of it. Yeah, The Last Journey of William Huskisson, how a day of triumph became a day of despair at the turn of a wheel. Simon Garfield. That's Faber and Faber, little book, more newer one, more very general. But it's Liverpool-Manchester Railway was the greatest engineering feat of its age. George and Robert Stephenson's rocket was to become the most famous locomotive in history. William Huskinson was one of the greatest statesmen of his generation and certainly the most accident prone. On 15th of September 1830, the three met for the first time. Huskinson's fateful accident in which the rocket crushed his leg and thigh, is an unforgettable image of the Industrial Revolution. But what really happened on that day, what really happened on that day? Question mark. How did the opening of the world's first passenger railway turn from a glorious morning into a tragic afternoon? So yeah, pages are yellowing a bit, but yeah. The princely sum of £2. I couldn't pass it up. Okay, here's some neat ones. There's two here that's part of this. British steam tugs. Tugs are cool too. That's another thing. Steamers, but steam with a tug. And they have all the technical drawings throughout. HMS Brigand Buccaneer. And it's got nice silhouettes, drawn silhouettes as well. The typeface is a little strange, but no, it's a fabulous book. And there's colored photographs as well, a few. It's Wayne Research Publications. P.N. Thomas is British. This is the British steam. Just a lovely frontispiece. And this is published in 1983 and reprinted in 1984. So, yeah, anybody who thinks out there like, nobody be interested in this stuff, or, what boring subjects? Well, as you can see, most of these books went into multiple printings. There we go. Steam Coasters and Short Sea Traders by Charles V. Wayne, PhD. And nice end papers here. Again, it's the same deal as the other one. There's a whole series of these. Obviously, every book has a series. Yeah, and again, silhouettes and details. This was Wayne Research Publications again, illustrated by the author, Charles W. Wayne. And this is a reprint again, 1977, first published in 1976. And here we go, the railroad station. A larger book. It's Castle Book, so yeah, it's a reprint company. Originally 1956 by Yale University, and this is September 1978 reprint. But yeah, it's railway stations, exactly what it says. The architectural sort of history of them. This is not too big. This is a normal size one. Britain's First Trunk Line by Norman F. Webster. You can't see that. And you can't see that. It's Adams and Dart is the publisher. The Grand Junction Railway. This is 1972. And yeah, it's just a history of the first Lots of, like, there's advertisements, all sorts of stuff that is illustrated. Yeah, this is kind of nice. Old Euston Station in London. It's not a usually technical book in any shape or form. It's an account of the beginnings of the London and Birmingham Railway and the building of Euston Station, 1958, by Country Life. It's quite nice. It's just a nice old book. Did I say 1958 or is that 38? 1958. And it's got a few pullouts in it as well. It's just quite cool. And here's another one of those picture books that I mentioned. I picked up a few. I think there was like a few hundred of these, but most of them are just, they're not great photographs. But this one I did because it's got photographs and it's got sort of a technical aspect to them of the trains. And they're nice. They're nice, full pictures. So, yeah, that's where I got that. And that was £2. And probably didn't even pay for it fully. Here we go. Railways in England, 1826 and 1827. Concerning railways in England, observations collected during a journey in the years 1826 and 1827. Translated from the German text by E.A. Forward, edited by Charles E. Lee and K.R. Gilbert. Published for the Newcomb Society by W. Heffer and Sons Limited, Cambridge. And it says, much of our detailed knowledge of the early industrial development in England is derived from the writings of visitors from overseas who came for the purpose of gaining information about our pioneer achievements. And this is 1971, obviously a reprint, for the Newcomb Society. And yeah, it's exactly what it says there. And there's foldouts and maps. Just railways in England. It's a bit of a journey, the outcome of it. This is kind of neat. It's the Gough map, or Gough map. It's the earliest road map of Great Britain, Nick Melia. There's more detailed volumes in this and bigger volumes, but they're quite expensive. This one is just sort of a general overview of the map. I forget when it's from. It says, for centuries, the Gough map, one of the Bodleian Library's greatest treasures, has impressed viewers with its remarkable detail and baffled historians with the hidden secrets who made it and why was it made. Came to the Bodleian in 1809, but it's much earlier than that. It's just an early road map of England, so it goes with my roads collection. Publisher, it's a Nick Melia. It's the Bodleian Library. 2007. But I know I've seen some books that are more detailed than that. Now, the very last book, we've gone quite long on this, is a nice honking book on driving. This is fabulous end papers. Got this as a remainder from somewhere for dirt cheap. It's George Ohm's Verlag. It's German, I think, is the publisher. I don't even know if they're still in business anymore. This is Driving, Andreas Furgier, The Horse, the Man, and the Carriage, from 1700 up to the present day. And this is 2009. And it's just chock full of photos, paintings, you name it, carriages. It's just a lovely, lovely book. So there we go. We've got one more shelf to do. I think that's it. There might be a little bit on the next shelf, so we'll try to finish it off. There's a few other books. There's a few books on sailing ships that are too big to go on these shelves, and a big honking book about this wise, about 2.5 feet oblong, on carriages. And I just can't get to it now, and it's just I have to figure out some way of showing it. So that'll be sometime in the future, probably later this year, before I am able to do anything like that. But yeah, so we'll try to finish off on Sunday, and I'll be back Friday with Friday Reads. This reading this week has not gone as well as previous couple weeks. Mainly because I read a nonfiction book, and that's really slowed me down. And I'm getting some issues with my cellulitis leg again. So that has sort of put me back. It's kind of hard to concentrate on reading when it feels like your shin is being bathed in acid. But it even looks like that too. So I won't show you. You may want to eat at some point. But yeah, so reading's not the greatest. And then we'll be doing for Saturday book to film is A Farewell to Arms. I'll be finished it in a little while. It's a reread for me. I haven't read it probably for 40 years, but it's just absolutely fabulous. Anybody who reads that and wants to go to war is bloody insane. As simple as that. Anyway, I will see you on Friday, BookTube. Take care.